topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Hey, this morning we have got a special show. And the reason why I say it's a special show is this is our 15th year of Ask the Experts. And 95% of our shows are 25 minutes long. And usually just once a month. We have found this show is so important that we do it the entire 50 minutes, and we also do it twice a month, and we've made it a national show. That's how important this show is, because when it comes to tax problems, there's so many people out there who are either embarrassed, who don't know what to do, and it's tough going up against the biggest collection company in the world, the IRS. So we are lucky. We are so blessed to have, let me introduce you to our guest who's been with us for 10 years, Barry Fowler. Good morning, Barry.
Hey, good morning, Steve-O. How are you doing?
Man, I love having you on the show because the way you explain about tax problems, it makes it so much easier for people to understand. And what I love about what you do, Barry, is you are one of the few companies, and listen, I do a lot of due diligence, and we have been in other markets before, but you really do care about your clients and that you really do hold their hand. And we're just so blessed to have you coming. Tell people about Taxation Solutions.
Well, Taxation Solutions have been around a very long time, as you know, and we've been helping thousands upon thousands of people solve their tax debt and put a solution in place that they can live with, and fight the IRS to tooth and nail to get them a lower payment plan or get them an offering compromise or get them a partial pay installment agreement. We work within every option that the IRS gives us in their internal revenue manual that says this is how you can put solutions together. And then we know how to work within all their rules and regulations that they have and jump through all the hurdles or get underneath all the bars that they set to make sure that we get the best plan for our clients. And then we give them customer service that isn't normal in this industry. Meaning we talk to our clients every month. We keep them informed what's going on. Matter of fact, we get some people that tell us, you guys call us too much. Will you stop calling us? And we're like, no, you need to be informed. This is your problem. You need to know what's going on, and we need to keep you up to date, even when we're in a holding pattern because we're just waiting on the IRS to process what we gave them. So, information is key. Not knowing what's going on is what hurts you as a taxpayer, as a client, working with anybody else because you're blind. And then you get blindsided at the end. And we don't want any of that to happen. We try to keep everything, wide open for you so that you know exactly what's happening in your case, where we're at in solving your tax debt, and what you need to provide and when, and you got to meet deadlines. That's where we help all across the board.
You know what, Barry? I think there's one thing that I think sometimes is overlooked. I listen to a lot of talk shows, and I've heard people say, you know what, I tried to call the IRS myself and try to work out something, and I was literally on hold for 3 hours, and then I got hung up on. And I'm sure you hear that all the time.
It happens. I mean, there's days we call and we get into the system and we got a proprietary priority line that we call, and we'll call in and it'll go through the whole system and then tell us they're too busy to take our call. And so we've got to do it another day. And, we continue to go through this. It's going to get worse. And it's not going to get better. With the president we have in there, that he's going to reassign some of these agents to other places. I mean, some of these agents are authorized to carry guns. So why not put them on the border and protect the border? Maybe they can answer IRS calls and do just as good as they do from home as they do at the border. Who knows? It's fun to joke about, but, in all seriousness, when you're trying to deal with this yourself, it becomes a lot more difficult. You get very frustrated, sitting there on hold, and then you're not ready to answer their questions. And that gets you in deeper trouble because you don't answer the questions the way they should be answered, or you give them too much information, or you upset them because you don't give them enough information and you don't know how to defer. Those are things that we get to do with our expertise, our knowledge in this business, and dealing with IRS agents, dealing with our clients, and being able to help people avoid that frustration, avoid those pitfalls, avoid the quicksand that the IRS has put out there for you that's going to hamper you to put a good solution in place. Not to mention all the frustration you're going to feel dealing with it yourself.
Well, Barry, there's so many things I want to touch on, especially your new playbook. But we've got, we start promoting your show out 3 days before. And I guess with what's going on in D.C., we got a lot of questions. People wanting to know, are IRS agents, are they all CPAs by their background? Is that true or not?
No, not at all. They could be, if you've ever dealt with any of them, they could be from all walks of life.
Okay.
And just because you think they should be CPAs or enrolled agents or tax attorneys, people that would have knowledge and know the tax code, no, they're mostly collection agencies. They're there to collect. They've got people that have learned the taxes and tax code, but they're not enrolled agents. They may graduate college and have an accounting degree, but it doesn't make them smart in taxes either. Most of what these agents are taught is collections and, how to collect money from the taxpayer and the people that owe them. And that's really where their specialty lies. You get some pretty good and some smart IRS agents that are out there that know the tax code. Well, they're going to work on the lines where it's not about collections. It's about answering your tax question. But the people that are answering to collect money from you, that when you get that IRS letter and you call, they're highly specialized to collect money from you and find ways to get money. It's kind of like some of these people think they can get blood from a turnip, and they're going to pull whatever they can from you, even if you're flat broke, trying to find every dime, because that's their job, to collect.
I was really amazed. I guess it's, all the, due diligence that's been going on in Washington, D.C. about who's looking at our taxes. But anyway, that's you answered my question there. Let's talk about something really exciting, is your IRS playbook.
We had a lot of fun. We sat down as a company and made a strategic decision of getting information out. There's a lot of people in this industry that hold themselves out as tax relief experts and in the tax resolution business. And there's marketing companies out there marketing to tax preparers you could jump in this industry and do tax resolution. And it gives us in this industry sometimes a very bad name. Some of the big companies out there give us a bad name. So what we did is decided, hey, some people want to do it themselves. I mean, sometimes I'm a do-it-yourself plumber. Sometimes I'm a do-it-yourself electrician. Sometimes I'm a do-it-yourself gardener. I don't have a green thumb, and gardening doesn't always work for me. I'm not the best plumber. Plumbing doesn't always work for me. And my wife will tell you, she never lets me touch electrical problems anymore because it costs me twice as much to fix it as we go. But there are a lot of us, hey, can I do this myself? That's why we put out this IRS playbook. IRS playbook is going to give people basically 3 simple steps to help solve your tax problem. And that's what we go through. Our years of experience put this together in this great playbook. It's the irsplaybook.info, irsplaybook.info. You can go there, subscribe, and you can watch our playbook. And you can see what 3 simple steps that can help save you from the IRS ruining your life. And you've got to stop the IRS, regardless of what you do, whether you hire us at taxationsolutions.net, whether you hire somebody else or do it yourself, you have got to find a way to make sure you stop the IRS from taking everything you own, emptying your bank accounts, garnishing your wages. And, we don't mean this to sound as bad as it does, but it's things the IRS can do. And then people ask me, well, why did the IRS do that? Because you've ignored them. They sent you letters after letters and you haven't done anything about it. But guess what? The day they levy your bank account is the day you woke up and said, oh my God, I got to do something about this. They're taking my money. And sometimes that's a little bit late because you can't make your mortgage payment. You can't make your rent payment. You can't make your car payment. You can't make your utility payment. There is nothing in your account because they just took it all. They're not nice guys when it gets to that. Or maybe you've ignored them even further and now they're garnishing your wages. How do you live on what little bit of money they leave you from your wages when they do a wage garnishment? It's almost impossible. It's hard enough to live on what you got, the price of eggs these days. So, get in here, go to irsplaybook.info, subscribe there, watch our nice video that we got, look at our playbook, and decide, hey, is this the right thing I want to do? Do I want to do this myself? Or maybe do I need help? And if you decide you need help, you just call us at 877-996-6477. We'll give you a free consultation. We'll even talk about our playbook with you. And then you decide, hey, let's get some professional help, somebody that can step into my shoes between us and the IRS and let me sleep at night. Isn't that the beautiful part about it all when you get somebody working with you? My wife finds that when we get a good electrician to come in and fix electrical problems I caused, she can sleep at night. She doesn't have to worry about the house burning down. Well, you don't have to worry about your money going away either.
Barry, you came out with this playbook, which I thought was amazing. But this is not the first time you've come up with something. I still think you came up with this idea about helping truckers. That was another thing I thought was so amazing that you don't hear other companies talk about. And truckers really do, because they're always out on the road. And I thought that was so innovative that your company has done as well.
Oh, yeah. We work with truckers nationwide. We actually started out working with truckers that had tax problems. and giving them tax relief, and then have grown into a whole new company called TruckerTaxTools.com that does trucker bookkeeping and taxes. And that was never our intention. It grew out of helping hundreds of truckers, and probably now thousands of truckers, solve their tax problems, and people coming to us and going, can't you do our bookkeeping? Can't you do our taxes? You fixed all these problems. Now keep us out of trouble. And so we've grown into this whole new company out here that just services truckers nationwide. We make it simple. We make it easy on them to get information to us so we can do their bookkeeping, keep them informed on what their tax situation is, their financial situation is, know that they're making money, and how to continue to grow in the business. And we've been doing that now for a number of years. And the funny story behind all that is that when we first started helping truckers in tax relief, we had this IRS agent that I talked to, and she ended up being an agent on many, many clients that we had. And so I got to know her really well. She's retired now. And she was telling me that, she enjoyed going after truckers.
She admitted that to you?
She admitted it to me. And she said the reason is because when she takes vacations, she can go out on the road and go through the truck stops or go through the rest stops where the truckers stop at night. And she would have a list of trucks that she was looking for so that she could foreclose and take that truck right there off the road from those truckers. Now, can you imagine that? I had to sit there and go, you did what while you were on vacation? Aren't you supposed to just let it go and have fun and be on a trip? Oh, no, that was fun. I was collecting for the government. I was finding these trucks, and it went, man, I got to get out and do more for truckers to prevent stuff like this from happening. And, not have somebody lose their truck while they're on the road because some, I would say, rogue IRS agent decided I'm too gung-ho and I want to go and find the trucks that are out there on the road. So we got into helping more and more truckers because of what she admitted to us and what she was willing to do to these poor truckers that are out there that were, in my opinion, a lot of times innocent of, just owing money.
Right.
They were innocent because they just didn't have the knowledge. They didn't have the help. They didn't get the professional help to do their taxes the right way, to do the things they needed to do the right way, to claim all the expenses against the 1099 income that they had coming in. And so they needed somebody to step in and find somebody to, find a way to save them from what I would call the evil IRS agent that's out there going rogue looking for your truck.
Barry, we've been doing the show for such a long time, and you also have your own show, which is on Mondays, I believe.
Yeah, Mondays, 10 a.m. Eastern time, right here on W4CY Radio. Talk for You TV, but you can go to taxtalk4u.com and subscribe and never miss an episode over there. And then, make sure you subscribe to Ask the Experts and you never miss an episode with us here as well. And as you said in the beginning, we started out 30-minute shows, and a very long time ago, I remember doing the first show with you there in Florida,
South Florida,
studios and having fun. And then since then, it's expanded. And then you asked us, not only go into the 3 or 4 markets we were in, but go nationwide.
Exactly.
We're like,
but Barry, what I rarely talk about, and people need to know, is we talk about, handling people, when they get in trouble with the IRS, but your company also does bookkeeping and you handle audits, preparing taxes. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Taxation Solutions, Trucker Tax Tools, we run the gambit of it. Our specialization is tax relief with Taxation Solutions. But we get clients in that need bookkeeping so that we can get taxes done. We get clients that come in and haven't filed for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years or more, and we've got to get taxes filed. So our preparers are experts at what they do, and finding every deduction out there that's possible for our clients. And then if you're going through IRS audits, we're here to help you handle those IRS audits, whether they're as simple as a correspondence audit or a full-fledged complete audit of your complete financial situation. We step in. You don't have to do anything besides provide us information so that we can handle the audit. And sometimes you've lost audits, and we've had clients that have done this before where they never responded to the auditor, never gave them anything, and they just lose the audit across the board. We've even stepped in and do audit reconsiderations and gets the IRS to look back and reconsider, what they did in the audit and get the penalties and taxes and interest and everything reduced, because we can sometimes win those audit reconsiderations. And we've done very well. We've saved millions of dollars in audit reconsiderations, just because we know how to put the information together and the accuracy of the support to this. And sometimes you've screwed up and you've missed, where you could go into tax court and fight it. We don't represent people in tax court, but I've helped people take and represent themselves in tax court, or get them an attorney that will go to tax court with them and represent them. But a lot of times you can solve some of these things administratively or through appeals, and again, through audit reconsideration. So if you've lost an audit and need help getting an audit reconsideration, we can sometimes get those things through. They take a lot of time and a lot of effort to get it done. But, like I said, we've saved millions of dollars for our clients in audit reconsiderations. We had a trucking company that came to us that lost an audit, but they never gave them any information whatsoever. We went through, compiled all the information together, took the audit back to the IRS, asked for an audit reconsideration. It took them about 18 months to reconsider the audit, but they reduced the 1 year's tax by over $500,000, and they reduced the other year's tax by about $425,000. So we were close to $1 million in savings in those 2 years for that client. Not to mention over $300,000 in penalties and interest that we got waived as well by completing and getting that audit consideration through. So, those are the kind of things that we get to do for our clients that will help them. And just because the IRS says you owe money absolutely does not make the IRS correct. Because sometimes, they've done substitute for returns, or they've done these correspondence audits that you didn't respond to. We've got to sit down and look at it and make sure that what the IRS is saying you owe. And sometimes that solution is fixing the IRS's problem and making it right. And then you don't owe anything, or you owe a lot less, something you can afford, and that makes it better too. Which way do you want it? The whole goal is to not owe one way or the other, or get it down to a low amount.
Barry, what should people look for in their tax preparer?
They should just call taxationsolutions.net, 877-996-6477. But all kidding aside, that is the best way of knowing you're going to have a absolutely great tax preparers. But
you've seen some bad ones, haven't you, Barry?
Oh, yeah, I've seen some really bad ones. But check the preparer's qualifications. Are they an enrolled agent? Are they a CPA? Are they a tax attorney? And you can check out whether enrolled agents on the IRS's website. You can check out CPAs and their qualifications over at your accountancy board in your state. And the same thing, you can go to the Bar Association and check out your attorneys and see, that they are qualified there. Two things: enrolled agents. We are licensed by the U.S. Department of Treasury to represent taxpayers to the highest levels of the IRS. We probably have the most knowledge about taxes of anybody in the industry, because that's what we specialize in, is tax. CPAs, they may do bookkeeping, may do accounting, may do many other things, and their education isn't all around taxes. It's around accounting and things like that, and auditing, like not IRS audits per se, but SEC audits and things like that, audits of the books. So you got to make sure your CPA has a lot of experience in dealing with taxes. And then the attorneys. I mean, attorneys can be anything from, representing in lawsuits to getting out and doing taxes and being a tax attorney. So you need to kind of see what was their specialization in before you just jump in and use them. And then you've got those PTIN holders, which all of us are, but they only prepare taxes, and they've got you need to find somebody that's licensed so that that they're going to do things the correct way. Check on the preparer history. You can check BBB. Taxation Solutions is A+ rated on the BBB. You can check for disciplinary actions through the IRS, Board of Accountancy, or the Bar Association. Ask about their service fees. They should be very upfront about what their fees are to do taxes. Make sure they're offering electronic filing, because if they are a preparer and they're doing 10 or more returns, IRS requires all preparers doing 10 or more returns to file returns electronically. Now, if they're not signing your return, their name isn't on it, man, run. Go somewhere else. They're trying to get you to do a self-prepared return. They're not taking any responsibility, and just run. And make sure they're accessible. Are they open year round? There's a lot of outfits that are only open during tax season, and they go away after tax season, maybe answer their phone once a month or listen to their voicemails once a week, whatever it may be. Prefer to have a company that's going to be there year round for you if you need help.
Barry, I'm going to tell you the thing, because we do a lot of due diligence, and I've been doing this for so long. And one of the things, I know why you've been around for so long, I will see companies with this national advertising, and they're in business one year, and then 2 or 3 years later they're gone, and you read the comments about them, and it's almost all the same. They took my money, and after they got my money, I had the hardest time getting a hold of them again. And I think that's one, your customer service is so amazing, and I think that's one of the reasons for your success.
Well, I mean, that's what we pride ourselves on, is being here for our clients and providing the service that they deserve and expect. I have to laugh, as much as we go above and beyond, we probably got our first negative review on the BBB. And it came from a client who signed with us it's been almost 8 months, 9 months. We prepared he had 2 years of returns to go through. We prepared his first return within a month of him being here. Sent it to him to sign. He didn't sign it for 6 months. And then we prepared his other returns, but he wouldn't give us, and still hasn't given us, the forms we require for due diligence, because IRS puts due diligence on us to verify certain things and make sure that we're providing the right answers based on the questions that are in the taxes that you have to answer. And he won't return that, but he left a review for us saying, hey, we won't provide him these returns. Well, we can't. And it took him 6 months to sign the first one. And so we were kind of laughing about that, but we've been in contact with him. We had called him every week for 6 months to try to get him to sign the tax returns. And so, we kind of laugh about it, but, we go above and beyond is what we do. And, some people, we've even had clients ask us not to call them so much, but we got to keep you informed. We got to keep you in knowledge. We got to get you to follow through on your side as well, because we can't help you if you're not going to follow through to help us. We're not going to make anything up. We're going to do the taxes the right way. We're going to do representation the right way for you. But it does require your participation and your help to get the information to us so that we can present the correct information. We can do the taxes the right way. If you're using somebody that's willing to make up numbers, run. If you're using somebody that makes up a business for you so you get the largest refund, and because they promised you the best refund ever out there, but they did a business for you that you're not in and show huge losses so you get a bigger refund, run. Don't sign it. Run. Take it as a learning opportunity and move on and get to somebody that's going to prepare a return the proper way. And never sign a return that is blank. Never sign a return that you haven't completely looked at and reviewed. And that's what you need to do when you got a company out there, even ours.
Barry, I'm going to share something with you that just happened. There's these big tax preparer companies out there that tell you they'll prepare your taxes. It's an online company. Doesn't matter what the name is. And they say, if you have problems with the IRS, that part of their deal is they'll stand by you and they'll go to court even with you. That is the biggest garbage I've ever heard. I have a very good friend that did their taxes with them, and the IRS is saying they owe them a certain amount of tax, and this company won't even help her. And that was the big thing of their advertising, these online companies, that they'll help you if there's a problem with the IRS.
I have to laugh because...
Did you know that? Have you heard that before?
I've seen all kinds of things in this industry and preparers that are out there. Sometimes these online services that you're going to see are not doing even the returns here in the U.S. They're sending them out to be done. We were approached by a company that wanted to buy us out, but they were going to send everything to India.
Oh my God.
And we're like, why? First off, we don't want to go anywhere. We want to help people, and that's what we're here to do. The second off, why would I want to even send things to India? They even propose partnering with us, but they would use their partners overseas in India to do all the bookkeeping and the taxes. And, hey, it's your financial information. It should be done here in the U.S. It shouldn't be done in India. It shouldn't be done in the Philippines. That's not what the job is. And, these companies out there, sometimes they're going to tell you, yes, we're going to represent you. We're going to do this. And it's included in your taxes. So you should be paying a premium for it. And then when they get to it, what they're going to do is say, oh, sorry, you just owe the money. So you got to pay it. We represented you. Yes. And now you owe. And nothing we can do about it. And they're not going to do anything about it. There's other places in this industry that are, promising and promoting all kinds of things, from the largest refund to,
Yes.
Getting you more money back. I see signs on the way into work that says, hey, if you got 2 kids, we're going to get you $7,000 back. Hey, okay. I had 2 kids, and, we file our tax returns. We know what the rules are and what the regulations are. If you qualify for earned income credit, and you qualify for this and you qualify for that, yeah, maybe you're going to be able to get more money back. But you've got to go in and make sure taxes are done correctly.
Barry, who's responsible when a tax preparer files a false return?
Well, that's funny, Steve, because at the bottom of your return, there's two people that sign, husband and wife, if you're married. And the third one is your preparer. All the preparer says is, I was a paid preparer. But if you look at the box above where you sign, so it's your return, or husband and wife, it's both of your return, and it says, under penalties of perjury, I, the person filing this tax return, says this is true and correct, and I'm responsible. So you, the taxpayer, are responsible for that return, not anybody else.
Wow.
Not your preparer. It's you. And so when that preparer does something that is completely wrong, we used to see it when before the Trump tax code back in 2017, we used to see it on the unreimbursed business expenses. We would have unscrupulous preparers prepare that and take off all your mileage or going to work and back, take off meals and entertainment and all this other stuff that they could throw in as unreimbursed business expenses. Now we see it a lot more where they're creating a business for people that never were in business, so that are now actual W-2 employees, and saying they're running a side business and showing a huge loss to get people a bigger refund. We see a lot of that happening fraudulently, or somebody, not as much, but sometimes we see large itemized deductions. So they're itemizing, but the standard deduction is so high that unless you're paying a lot of mortgage interest, and then you have a limit on state and local tax, that they're throwing in so much charity to get you over the standard deduction, and then it makes it something that ends up going through an audit and you lose. So it's these things that we see on these tax returns that become a big issue for our clients when they're using somebody that is an irresponsible or bad tax preparer. And then you end up owing. And, as much as you or I want to hold that preparer responsible, most of the time that preparer is a ghost preparer, and you're never going to talk to them ever again once they got in trouble. So you may use them for 2 or 3 years. Now all of a sudden they have a whole bunch of clients going through an audit, and they're nowhere to be found. IRS isn't finding them. You're not finding them. They were just a preparer, had no license, no nothing. They're in the wind. And if the IRS does find them, they usually don't have any money, and they're not going to pay your penalties or fines. The IRS isn't going to reduce your tax because they can't find them. You're responsible. The only thing they're responsible for is the penalties the IRS is going to issue for them filing bad tax returns. And that's it. And you, at the end of the day, are left holding the bag, owing the money. So find a good preparer, whether it's us at taxationsolutions.net or whether it's somebody else, but find a good one. And some of these brick and mortar stores that you see out there that are nationwide, some of these people are good. Some of them, all they've learned how to do is data input on a computer. So you got to kind of watch out what you get there as well. Ask what they're licensed, how they're licensed, not just their PTI number. Are they enrolled agents? Are they CPAs? Who are they? Find out before you sit down with them to even do your work.
Barry, why do you think so many Americans owe money to the IRS?
Well, I'd love to say the IRS just makes everything up and everybody owes, a lot of times, we'll take example, somebody that's going into a small business, whether it's a trucker, whether it's you're going to run a mom and pop shop, whether you're going to be a consultant. You didn't have a consultant. You didn't feel like you could afford to have somebody on your side that does tax planning and stuff. And you're not aware that you got to make estimated tax payments, that you were going to pay self-employment taxes, that's Social Security and Medicare, and you don't pay the half you see come out on your W-2, but actually you pay double that. It's both sides, the employer and employee side, so 15.3%. And then you get to where you're going to file your taxes, and you realize now you owe $10,000 or $20,000 to the IRS, and you weren't prepared for it because you made money in your business. And so you don't file that return, and you go to the next year and you do the same thing, but the IRS hasn't called, hasn't sent a letter, hasn't bothered you about the money that you owe because you didn't file the taxes. And now you owe more. And you don't file that one because they haven't bothered you with the one before. Now you're 2 years, maybe 3 years behind before the IRS decides, hey, I got to send you a letter because you didn't file a tax return, because their system wasn't looking for you quite yet. And that system now starts looking for you. And now they start filing substitute for returns and start collections. And that's where you've got just not a small problem that you started with. And now $10,000 isn't small. Once you add another $5,000 for penalties and interest, it's 15. 20 or 30,000 isn't small. But when the IRS starts coming to collection, you're now looking at 30, 40, 50,000. If the IRS did the return, you might be looking at 100 or 120 or 200,000, because they don't give you any tax deductions when they do substitute for returns. They take your 1099, they tax you. They may put it as a joint return because you've been filing jointly, but they're not going to give you your kids. They're not going to give you the expense deductions. They're not giving you any of that stuff. And you got to come back in and file the returns and make them correct, lower that tax burden down, and then go from there to figure out the right solution. So, that's where it comes in. Is the IRS, hey, you owe money, fine, you owe money. But you got to get in front of that and put a solution in place so that you can sleep at night and rest a little bit easier, and to that end, you need help. And that means, calling us for a free consultation. Whether you use this or not, you got to talk to us, at least take advantage of the free consultation to see what are the options. And you can call us at 877-996-6477. Again, 877-996-6477, or go to taxationsolutions.net. Or you can even go to irsplaybook.info. Go to see that IRS playbook we put together for you, 3 simple steps to solve your tax problem. And if you don't choose to use us, go through that playbook and learn something about being able to deal with your tax problem yourself in the 3 simple steps we go through to put a solution in place for you, our clients. And maybe you can use that to help yourself as well down the road.
Barry, I always try to think about, if I'm driving in the car and I'm listening to the show, and I haven't filed, or I owe back taxes, what questions I would have. And I'm sure there's people out there going, I could afford Taxation Solutions fees to help me, but I don't have the money to pay the tax bill. And they end up not even calling at all. What do you do if someone can't afford their tax bill?
Well, if you can't afford your tax bill, we've got solutions. We can work within the IRS to put you on the right plan that you can afford. So if you are flat broke or have very little income coming in and you meet all the qualifications with the IRS, we can get you into an offering compromise, which reduces or eliminates your tax debt. If maybe, let's say you're just on Social Security, one of the things we're going to go in and look at and do a tax analysis and decide, hey, what's the best route for you? Because people will sell you offers and compromise all day long because everybody wants that. That's the pipe dream that everybody sells when you listen to the radio ads. We're going to sell you for pennies on the dollar. We're going to sell you for so much less. Well, that doesn't make it the right solution. You got to go through and analyze what your solution needs to be and what your tax debt is. So, sometimes it's filing that audit reconsideration. Sometimes it's looking and seeing what the statute of limitations are, because if you've owed this money for 9 years or almost 10 years, statute of limitations may be running out in the next few months. we got a client that we actually looked at him and they're owing close to $100,000, but within the next 2 months, they're going to have $20,000 that are going to come off because of statute of limitations. So we've managed to stall the IRS so that we can get past that 20,000 falling off. Within another 6 months, they're going to have another 20,000 or so coming off. And so our goal is to develop a plan where we can get through these CSEDs, get these statute of limitations run out and get rid of a lot of their debt, and then put a permanent solution in place. And that may be a partial pay installment agreement where they pay a lot less and they'll never full pay all the tax within the time period. It could be a non-collectible status. So if we can prove that they can't afford to pay anything, we would put a client in possibly a non-collectible status and let the statutes run out on the years that we can get to where the statutes would run out. But it may be that you can afford it and we got to put you on a payment plan, and we can work on the payment plans and restructure some things in your life to where it shows that you can't afford the full payment, but you can afford a lot less. Working with a client the other day. Now, hey, don't run out and do this. I don't remember how this disclaimer works, but just because I said it doesn't mean you go do it. We took this client who'd been running a 2001 Toyota, fully paid off, said, hey, go out and buy a new car. Went out and got a new car, has a $500 payment plan. And basically it lowered his payment plan with the IRS by that $500. So it's kind of like the IRS buying him a new car because he would have had to pay the money to the IRS anyway. Right. But we were able to work it into the payment plan where he's now paying $45 a month instead of $545 a month. And so he'll pay this $45 a month. Right now, it's a partial pay installment agreement until the CSEDs run out over the next 4 years. Life-changing. Saved him a lot of money, and it put him in a new vehicle. Repairs in the vehicle or less. All that worked in his favor to put the right solution. So it's putting the right solution for the right person in the right situation so that you know that you're getting the best deal within the IRS. Now, the offering compromise wasn't going to be much better than what we put together for him. And it wasn't worth going through and spending the effort to do it. Because sometimes those offering compromise, and nobody talks about, except probably me, is it comes with rules that you have to stay in compliance for the next 5 years from when the offer is accepted. If you don't stay in compliance, all the debt comes flowing back. So the same amount of money you spent, this guy would have spent in a partial pay installment agreement. He would have spent in an offering compromise, but had strings attached.
Right.
And then it would have taken the IRS a year to 18 months to process the offer. So it would have been 6 years or 6.5 years that he'd have to stay in compliance and follow all the rules and regulations. Otherwise, the debt comes back. Some of these things you don't want to do. And, take it from me. I've got a lot of experience in this thing. We're going to look at what's right for you. And you and I are going to talk about it and put that solution and say, hey, we agree. This is what we want to do.
Barry, we've got a couple minutes left. Tell people, first of all, how important it is for them not to talk to the IRS, because you've taught me that you could end up giving the IRS information that they should not have had.
Well, let's just put it this way. They're going to ask you a lot of questions and you can't avoid answering. They think you should know, and you're going to answer. And you may have misinterpreted what the actual question was, and you gave them more information than they needed, or information that you shouldn't have given them quite yet. When we're representing you, we step in your shoes. You don't talk to the IRS. We do. We know how to defer. If we know the answer and don't like what the answer is going to be, we can actually defer that answer out and say, hey, we got to get that information. It's pretty fun. And then we know how to put it in better light so that maybe the IRS doesn't come after that, or we figure out a solution quicker to go through. Now, hey, Steve, I know we got short time, so we got to get this out, and you got to go to taxationsolutions.net, get in there for that free consultation, or just pick up the phone and call us at 877-996-6477. Again, 877-996-6477. Mention Ask the Experts. We got special deals going to save you money, even on our services right now. So call us today, 877-996-6477. And don't forget to come to Ask the Experts, like and subscribe, see us every month. I think we're on twice a month here nationwide.
Yeah.
And go to taxtalk4u.com. You can subscribe and go to my podcast and my radio show as well, Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Playbook.
IRSplaybook.info. Go in there and get to see that playbook and subscribe. Reach out to us, talk to us. We'd love to help you any way, shape, or form. But just give us a call, 877-996-6477.
Barry, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Steve. I always appreciate it.
I'll see. And Barry, you'll be back with us next week.
Look forward to it.
We'll see you soon. That's Barry Fowler, Taxation Solutions. That's it for us today. We'll be back with you next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.